Hey everyone, welcome to the Rawle Gene Show, the power of coaching. Today, this is episode 13, and we're talking about daring the comfort zone. 13, Rawle. We've far surpassed
13.
our
It's
goal
week
of
13.
10, and we're still enjoying this. And what we agreed to at the end of last show is like, we'll stop this when it stops being fun. And so far, it's still being fun, so you're still stuck with us.
Well, kind of.
Kind of. How are you today, my brother?
I'm good. I'm alive. Excuse me, starting to feel a little human. I was a little slow last week with my health, my heart, but new medication, getting used to that. So I'm good. Still on the right side of the dirt, man.
I love it.
You know.
Well, I'm glad that if you didn't watch last show, Rawl's sister had to kick him a little bit in the ass to go get him to deal with some of his health challenges, and I'm very grateful for her for doing that, and I'm glad to hear that you're on the mend, brother.
You guys are more afraid than I am, so. You guys are more afraid than I am. But no, I mean, even my son in Kelowna, it's like, hey, Pops, I know how you are. Listen to Auntie and go see the damn doctor. All right, fine. But no, I mean, all kidding aside, I still have some things I want to do, so I gotta make sure you have a semblance of health so you can do those things. But it's funny, and when you're going through stuff like that, I don't know, man. It's kind of like we were talking earlier. There's just a piece that I feel that whatever shows up, I just go with it, and the acceptance that I'm gonna die one day. I just don't know when. So I'm good, So it was really interesting. I manifested the experience and I walked through it, and just to see how I was with it, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was pretty powerful. So, and it actually prompted, outside of this constant frog in my throat, it prompted some really good poetry that I'm working on right now.
I'm excited to hear it.
So sounds like you and I are in very similar places. So looking forward to really bringing the experience part of the me I don't see into something different than just traditional workshops. You know what I mean? So yeah. How are you? How are like you always say? How are you showing up?
What's my weather today? My internal weather is sunny, gorgeous, and it's like viewing. You know when you like look down at a lake, or I see more lakes than oceans, but like you're just sitting on the beach looking down at the lake and just taking it all in, going, I get to experience all of this. Yes. It's like that's. Oh man, like it feels. I'm sure somebody would be like, "Oh, you're feeling very woo-woo." Be like, "Yeah, I'm fucking full woo-woo right now, and I am loving all of the woo and the who."
Who came up with that? How you doing? I'm feeling very woo.
Deep in the woo-woo.
Like you said though about your weather, your internal weather.
Yeah.
Well, today I'm a day of partly. People always say it's partly sunny or partly cloudy. I always go it's partly sunny.
Yeah.
But with chances of
meatballs?
No, not meatballs. Chances of chocolate cake.
Ooh, I love it.
Because yesterday we celebrated Kinley's 10th birthday, so
happy birthday, Kinley.
There's a huge slab of chocolate cake in
the fridge. And you're just gonna take a little piece at a time?
I had a little piece last night.
Yeah.
There's the weekend, of course. And I probably will eat most of it. Because usually with the other kids, they always get ice cream cake. Which I'm not a big fan. I want cake. I want real cake. So Kinley's the only one that actually gets real cake.
So you and Kinley are going to enjoy some cake?
I'm going to enjoy some cake today. My sister just picked up a sub. So yeah, it's a good Friday,
It's a good Friday.
It's looking like we're going to get some weather today, so maybe it'll rain chocolate cake.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to get weather, one way or the other.
Well, you get weather every day.
Yeah,
Right?
you get weather every day, every moment there's some weather.
That's the beauty of life. Every moment of life is life. So
Yeah.
it kind of ties into our theme about daring the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Daring. I
Daring.
dare you. I dare you to stop being so comfortable.
That feels really uncertain, Rawl. It's almost like we're leading into somewhere here. Oh,
Well,
Neil wants you to send him a slice of cake, so we'll get that packaged up for him
not
right
get
away.
that yet. I'm FedExing it right now, or UPS. I don't know. What do you Americans prefer? So, yeah, we got an interesting week. Speaking of Neil, because Canada Day is when tomorrow for us,
Tomorrow, yeah, and then
and then Fourth
Tuesday
of
for our
July.
American friends.
So, yeah, so it'd be fitting to send Neil some chocolate cake for
Maybe
Fourth of
send him a
July.
gift card for Panera Bread. I think that's his jam.
Although
Neil,
I
let
don't,
us know down in the comments if we got that right.
yeah, no kidding. Although I don't know how joyous America feels right now with all the craziness going on. So, but that's a different show.
That's a different.
That's that's another show.
That's a whole nother topic.
But yeah,
Speaking of,
sliding into the comfort, you kind of trash my nice segue into it. So
well,
it's not
you know what I like about us is we're consistent, right?
consistently idiotic. Yeah.
It's just like this is what would happen if two squirrels had their own podcast. It's just like we're gonna get nuts today, right? And then they're gone.
Oh man. What squirrel? Squirrel? But anyway, all right. Let's try to
All
herd the
right.
cats. Let's
All
try
right.
to herd the cats just a little bit.
Get those squirrels back into the yard.
The cats are like, well, this is what we do to them. That's what those squirrels are like. Yeah. But
Yes.
yeah. Anyway.
Comfort zone. Well, it's interesting. I'm just noticing I say, well, a lot. I'm going to try to not use that as a segue going forward for the rest of the show, because that would take me out of my comfort zone. It's a weird little segue, I guess. And those little words that we say that bring us a little bit of certainty or maybe help us feel comfortable putting out our next point, which is the next point is the comfort zone is our friend, and it's also, what else would you call the comfort zone?
Comfort zone is the repetitive behaviors, repetitive patterns that we grow accustomed to, thinking that this is how we've always done it, or this is how things have always been. So, as human beings, as other animals on this planet, we're creatures of comfort. We want comfort. We want consistency, right? It's not just children. So, to me, when we talk about the comfort zone is a place where regardless of whether you consider it right or wrong or providing good or bad, it's a place that you can always turn to. Yeah. And it's consistent.
Yes.
And whether you consciously or unconsciously know that it hinders you or prevents you from exploring, you still know it's still safe.
Go explore.
We're like really in Zen today. So yeah, so it's just a place of knowing.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, there it is again. I for me, the word certainty keeps screaming from the comfort zone, and I think we talked about. Well, I know we've talked about certainty in the past, and how certainty sometimes I think can get conflated with safety, because the comfort zone can have a high level of certainty, but it might not necessarily have a high level of safety. Yes, you can predict what's going to happen and you can learn how to navigate and move with certainty on your side, even though you may physically, mentally, spiritually be unsafe, but you can still be certain about that. And there's a component of being able to operate within the chaos of life and going, these are the things I can be certain of.
Yeah. And I hear you saying, and I agree with it to some degree. To me, when you really think of the comfort zone, it's like I think of the fringe. It's like you're in the comfort zone, and it's like going to the edge, knowing that if I take one more step, I am no longer in the comfort. I've now stepped into the fringe, into the
Yes.
beyond the edge,
Yeah.
and beyond the edge is unknown. I've never stepped on it before, so that's scary. And even that where I am could be scary. That's even scary because that's unknown. At least I know what's scary over here,
Yeah.
right? At
It's like,
least I know what's scary. It's like that old saying, choose between the devils that you know,
yeah.
right? And it's just because we've done it so many times. And there went a lot of times when I'm working with clients, and I was asking, how's that serving you? They always assume when they hear that phrasing that I mean something good. I go, no,
No.
just whatever that you continuously do on a repetitive basis serves you. You get something from it.
Yeah.
You're getting a consequence. You're getting a result from it. It's neither good or bad, right or wrong. It's just an end result to repetitive choices. So so to me, that's what the comfort zone is, that repetitive choice that you continuously make because you know exactly what you will get from doing it. Doing something different, it's unknown, it's scary. It may not work, right? It may not yield the results that we want. So a lot of times we're afraid to do it because why? We don't want to feel that uncertainty, the word you like to use.
Yeah.
Not feeling safe, not feeling sure. There's no guarantee it's going to work, that kind of thing. So,
Yes. And then I by hearing that, I also hear this other side that we've talked about is like embracing kind of that chaos. Is like there's one perspective saying, oh, I am scared of this. I am feeling unsure of what's going to happen when I lean, even just leaning over the edge of it is taking you out of your comfort zone. You still kind of got one foot in there. That's neither right nor wrong. But there's also the other side of going, I don't know what's going to happen today. And that is also something that's exciting. It's like before we started the show, I talked about I had to go wait for the school to open to get something for my daughter. I went up a road that is like less than a kilometer away from me that I've passed a ton of times and I've never gone down. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go down this road and see if I can see something beautiful today. What's up here? It may have been a dead end, and it ended up not being. And it was just like all these beautiful orchards, and it was exciting. I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna see, and
yeah,
I'm ready to explore this.
yeah.
And maybe that's that word there, ready, is like the pivotal point.
Well,
That
it is pivotal. It's like anything. It's like a lot of times we don't sit and see that we're always in a state of chaos, right? And it's just a matter of degrees. It's funny as you're talking, I was thinking of you ever seen a zebra on the Serengeti in the wild?
just in the
They're
pictures.
just grazing, but it's always skittish, right? Is it? Or is it only skittish when it hears something that's potential danger? And even in the skittish, even in the chaos, it still functions. It still grazes, still eats. It tries to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say a lion does jump out and chases it, and it gets away. Because I've seen this from, not in live, but I've seen it on video. It's like after it's gotten away, it's obviously his heart's gotten back to its regular rhythm. It's like it's almost euphoric, and I've seen this a few times now where they get up on their hind legs and they kick, like it was almost like in celebration. You didn't get me, that kind of stuff. So, and it's kind of the same with us. It's like every time we step out of our comfort zone, more times than not, we're not devoured. Something beautiful happens. Whatever it is that happens, it's something different, and we learn from it.
Yeah.
And so for me, every time I see a zebra does that, where they kind of jump up on their front quarters and kick their hind legs, like in celebration, it's like, oh, I just experienced something beautiful and I didn't die. And it's kind of the same thing this week with me. It's like, okay, I didn't die. I was good. I wasn't fearful. Is that me being out of my comfort zone? Maybe. I don't know. But all I know is that there's a lot of unknowns within life. And a lot of times the unknown yields tremendous, tremendous gifts for us if we're willing to be open to it. And like you say, willing to, or are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Either way, it's up to you when you decide to become awakened, to become more conscious, and to kind of remove the blinders so that you can see all things. Because a lot of times the comfort becomes a blinder.
Oh, 100%, right?
Right?
Well, it's a perspective, right? And each
Yeah.
of our perspectives does only hold a portion of what's happening in our life and how we're experiencing it, and the stories and the feelings and everything that's happening below the neck, and all that stuff is all bundled into this perspective of I'm safe. I whatever the story is that you're telling yourself about that. And there's like an unlimited amount of perspectives that can reshape that whole experience and change the story and change the narrative. And it's just like, what are you going to choose to do? Are you ready for it? By saying I'm ready is like taking into action a choice. So
Hmm.
what is that choice? And is the choice to go explore and, love oh, there it is, love adventure
Yeah.
and step into the unknown? I don't want you to go I don't want anybody to go jump into it. I encourage them to step into it. If this is like if you're ready to make a different choice and to answer the question of how is this serving me, this experience, whatever it is,
Hmm.
and go, I'm looking for something different.
Hmm.
Just one step, baby. One step at a time.
I encourage people to jump or step, because the jump or step is not my choice. That's up to you. But the biggest thing is when we think about this, when I really think about this, is what are you trying to manage? It comes down to feelings,
Mm,
and that feeling, we get those feelings that, okay, this feels safe, this feels known,
yeah.
oh, that feels unknown. I don't know that. And a lot of times when we talk about these things, we kind of talk about the externals of it, but to me, it comes back down to that feeling of when you feel uncomfortable. What is it actually that you're feeling, and is there truth in that feeling? Because a lot of times, if you really pay attention, you've had those experiences before, and are you really paying attention to your feelings and managing your emotions at the
Mm,
time? Is there truth in it to go? There's something here I need to be afraid of, right? it's like um, it's like driving at night. You've seen that analogy. You're driving at night, and your headlights can only shine the light maybe 200 yards ahead of you. So beyond that is unknown. You can't see, but yet you keep driving because every 200 it illuminates every 200 yards.
yeah.
So you have to kind of trust that blind faith kind of mentality. And it's the same thing with this. But I'm inviting people to remove the blind faith and go really understand your feelings of when you're in the comfort zone, and then when you're being tested to step out of the comfort zone. What
Yes.
is those feelings, and understanding the emotions of it so you can really manage them and go, I don't need to be afraid. And even if I am afraid, I'm going to be okay. Right?
So in the comments about this, I've just shared the feeling wheel. So the one I've shared is from the Gottman Institute, but it's a great tool to use to
From where? The
explore
Gotham Institute?
the Gottman Institute. Great group. Um, it's an excellent tool to explore how you are feeling if you are looking for the words, right? So it's broken into three layers. So core layer is mad, sad, scared, joyful, powerful. And then there's another layer that gives more words to it, and each layer kind of builds more vocabulary onto what it is that you're feeling, right?
Hmm.
So you could be like, "Oh, feeling discouraged." Well, is that in that? Are you scared? What are you scared about?
Hmm.
Maybe I'm feeling, daring today. Ooh, daring breaks back down to joyful. If you can expand on that sense of feeling, right? Because there's also the component that people will tell a story and go, "That's how I'm feeling." But like, no, that was the story. How are
Yeah.
you actually
Are you actually?
feeling
Yeah.
about it. What are you telling yourself about it? Not what you're telling others about it, but what are you feeling? Where do you feel that when you feel it?
Hmm.
How does it show up in your body? Does it connect to one of these many words that are on this wheel? That is like getting very specific. And the more specific you can get about that feeling, give some insights to the story that this incredible machine is creating about it.
Yeah. And to know that those feelings are temporary,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I was reading an article, so I didn't back check the research, but I heard it from smart people. It was Andrew Huberman talking about how when we actually explore the feelings that we're feeling, the sensations in our body, like if we don't try to fight them off, they last like 90 seconds.
Hmm.
90 seconds. And the reason that that's then story sticks around is because we put the story on repeat.
So, you know,
So it's not actually our body and the feelings that we're feeling that is happening that is prolonging. It's the story
yeah.
that we're telling. And the
And
more that we can get back to what are we feeling, then ties back into like what are we experiencing when we're outside of the comfort zone, and what can we trust within understanding how we're feeling to give us even more intentionality and opportunity to make powerful choices when we step out of it or jump out of it, player's choice, and knowing that you go back into the comfort zone to debrief it and integrate what you've learned so you can go do it again.
that's why I like the story of the zebra.
Yeah.
You know, 20 minutes after a failed attack, right? Their serotonin levels, their heart rate drops right back down to normal.
Yeah.
Right. We, on the other hand, an hour later, be like, "Hey, Gene, can you believe that lion almost got me? Oh my God!" And we just keep reliving that story.
Yeah.
Right? We keep, animals don't, from what we understand, don't relive that story.
Yeah.
Right. So, everything is a comfort zone. But when you step out of the comfort zone, it's a temporary thing.
Yes.
You're not stepping into discomfort, and that's going to be a permanent situation.
Yeah.
Our permanent situation is comfort that we keep redefining.
I love that. I love that you went there with that. It's like as you step out of that comfort zone and explore beyond it, it's like it gets bigger.
Yeah.
When you're like, if you think back over the course of a year, over 10 years, all the times that you've stepped or jumped out of your comfort zone, and all of a sudden you look back going, well, that's like really easy. It's really certain. Because like you expanded the area that you're comfortable with, that you can be certain with, that you are very well known to what's happening within it. And I use the word then trust myself in those experiences more.
Yeah, because you have the experience now. To me, it's like building.
Yeah.
Your comfort zone is something that you're constantly building, adding to, and you add to it based on experiences of being in the comfort zone, but also when you have to step out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's by choice, sometimes life forces you, but either way, you don't spend all your time in either one. You spend your time mostly in comforts, like the fish. It spends the time mostly, in water. We spend most of our time in the comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that when we stepping out to embrace, to learn, to enhance, to add, because now what we're doing is just adding to the comfort zone. So the next time that happens, I got experience on this. I've done this before. I know those feelings. I understand those feelings. Understand the emotions that are attached to those feelings. And do I have to give in to them? No, I don't have to. And if I do give in to them, why did I choose to give it to them?
Yeah.
Right? So it the constant state is comfort, but the growth factor, the pain, the suffering is the discomfort. And this is why, true transformative change only comes from a state of discomfort. It's like the saying, the phoenix rose out of the ashes. The ashes are that discomfort, whatever burns.
How did the ashes get there? The phoenix had to light itself on fire.
Well, exactly. And so it all serves a purpose. It's not just some things. It's like working with people that feel that they're lost. I go, well, if you're lost, that means you're looking to be found. So there must be a value to being lost. Otherwise,
beautiful.
You can't be found if you're not lost.
Yeah.
So there's a value to being lost. There's a value to discomfort. it's just hard at times because the discomfort does bring sometimes a lot of pain and suffering. But yet, as I do, I'm almost like enrolled in a philosophy degree. I just constantly listening to philosophy lectures,
Yeah.
and they talk about that. You know, you know, this pain and suffering, is something that we can avoid, and I don't see how you can avoid pain and suffering. It's interwoven
Mm.
into the comfort. It's interwoven into life. Otherwise, how would you know? How would you learn? Right? The old saying is, pain is not optional, suffering is optional. I used to say that and believe it. I don't believe that anymore. I believe both suffering and pain are necessary agents to grow.
There, there's they all require to be felt and to be
All of them.
experienced and to be understood and to be explored because
Mhm.
it does serve in
It does serve.
it does serve end state. It serves. Now it doesn't mean that you need to like set roots down in any of those. They are opportunities to grow. They're going to highlight places
Mhm.
of great healing that may be required. And like your example of like being to be found must mean that being lost does have a service. In the same way, through all of these perspectives of those feelings and those experiences, however you're going to label them, is like what is this leading to? And if you can answer that, know that then that has a service and it has a purpose if
Mhm.
that's leading there. And are you taking the actions to go step out of that comfort zone to get to where you want to, be found,
Mhm.
get to whatever that goal is? Because if it was inside of your comfort zone, you would stroll right on up to it.
Yeah.
There
No,
wouldn't be an adventure to get to it.
whether you like it or understand it, that's not a requirement to pain and suffering,
Mm,
right? You're not always going to understand the things that happen to you,
yeah,
right? So understanding and liking are not those sometimes are almost a deflect.
yeah,
Well, I don't like it. There's nowhere it's written that says you have to like it,
yeah,
right? You're going to go through it. So to me, pain and suffering are almost two different things in the sense that pain happens when the experience happens. And depending on the experience, the pain can last a second, a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, depending on the experience.
mm-hmm.
Stub your toe in the morning, right? Depending on how badly you stub your toe, it can last a few seconds, a minute, it can last the whole day, but depending on how badly you stub your
Yeah,
toe. The suffering occurs when we don't understand why it happened. And then we go through the whole damn day like you're stubbing your toe. It's like Groundhog's Day. You
yeah,
just keep repeating stubbing your toe, stubbing your toe, stubbing your toe. That's not pain, that's suffering because that's now you, what you said earlier, taking that experience and now adding it to your story and constantly replaying it. Because why? You don't know why it happened. Or I don't like it happened. So you create the story that creates the suffering. So pain to me happens at the experience, suffering comes afterwards in the story that we create based on the experience because we don't understand it or we don't like it. Yeah, I don't like stubbing my toe either, but
no.
it happens. Why did it happen? I don't know. Maybe I should pay attention. I don't know.
Yeah,
All I know is I'm not gonna let that me carry throughout my day and ruin my day because that's not on anyone else. That's on me,
yeah,
right? And that goes for every experience, whether you like it or not. And some experiences are harsher than others. Some experiences you'll never really understand why. I still don't to this day don't know why I was sexually abused as a kid by the guy that did it. All I know is life has taught me that that is probably what happened to him.
mm,
Because of that, I'm good now. Where when I was younger, I wasn't good with it. So I still don't know. But I have enough experience now to know that is more than likely what happened to him.
right.
And whether it did or not doesn't matter. It happened. Now, what do I want to do with that? Do I want to have that as an anchor around my neck? Or do I want to be free of that experience? free of the suffering, knowing that the experience is still of value. What's the value of the experience? I don't want to do that to someone else. Not just the sexual abuse part. I don't want to the best of my ability, hurt anyone to the best of my ability. I don't want anyone feeling like that from my hands. So I don't, a lot of times we can learn from other people's experiences just by observing. That's probably the best way that we still learn as human beings, vicarious learning, monkey see, monkey do. So it all serves. It's just, I think you even said it earlier, it's all a matter of perspective and how you choose to look at things. And, I look at my past now as, like I said, my vault of wisdom. All my experiences are positive, and I can withdraw the insight, the wisdom from them, because I don't look at my past with shame or guilt. I don't have regrets. I can't undo any of it. So, to me, at times, that all those things play into the comfort zone, positive and negative, because at least it's something I know.
Right.
My anger is something that I know, and you want to justify. Well, I'm allowed to get angry. Why? Blah, blah, blah. But why are you so angry? Is what's really happening really appropriate to the response that you're putting out?
Yeah.
In this anger, and it's just a matter of stopping and spending time with yourself and going, okay, is this how I really want to be? Is this how I really want to feel?
Yeah.
To feel afraid, to feel scared, to be like that zebra on the Serengeti that's always skittish. Now that the zebra is skittish because that's built into it. But we need to be that skittish. Simple thing like going down a road that you've never gone down before, but you've passed many times before. So obviously you've had the thought before, I wonder what's down that road. But today you were ready to
go explore.
Right? So, that's a big ding.
Time to change. What are your thoughts on, this is something that's, as we've been talking, we've talked about expanding our comfort zone, but it can also shrink.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's ours to maintain. And if you don't use it, you kind of lose it a little bit, right? Like it can, your comfort zone, I feel like the comfort zone can shrink down and contract, and things that you once thought you had under wraps all of a sudden feel outside of that comfort.
I don't know if you lose it, so it's possible. I just think that you become so engulfed in it that you just don't know. You can't see, you can't see the trees for the forest. You're just, it's like being, lost in that fog. That all you see is the fog, and not trusting that there's something else other than the fog, or the fog but left. I don't know. I don't know if it shrinks, but I do know. I don't know if the comfort shrinks, or maybe it's you that shrinks.
That's where I was kind of thinking about it too.
I
It's
think
like
it's
this
more,
idea of playing small and rolling up into a ball of life, and like trying to get smaller and smaller. So like maybe life won't see me.
Yeah.
Is that place of like, it's like the fog kind of jumps back into that, and you have to re-explore and kind of like push the fog back out to see all those things that you are capable of, the things that you've experienced in those places that you can know yourself and anchor back into.
Yeah. Is it the world that changes, or you change in the world? I think it's always you change. The world is constant. It stays the same. When you really look at the world, when I say look at the world, look at the earth, the universe, not the ones inhabited in it, but the container of life. It's constant. It's the same.
It's always moving.
It's always moving. It's always spinning. Weather changes. Seasons come and go, right? As they're supposed to. So what changes is actually you and your perception of the world, right? This thing about changing the world. You really can't change the world. All you can do is change yourself. And then hopefully whatever change you are will then ripple out into others. And then that will continue that rippling out. I've been watching a lot of a lot of random acts of kindness types of videos and
Dude,
watch.
what is with us today?
Yeah.
You see that?
Oh, beautiful. Well, I have a project we'll talk about that I think we need to do around that. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. But, random acts of kindness. And when someone does something kind for you and they go, no, 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 you don't need to pay me. Just pay it forward.
Yeah.
Right? Just put it forward, put it forward. And that's the key. It's that ripple. When you are good with you don't have to worry about changing anything externally. You just let it ripple out.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think a lot of times thinking you could change the world is a very, it's almost egotistical in thinking that you can change anyone. I cannot change anyone. All I can do is hopefully inspire you, for you to then take that inspiration and add it to your motivation to then be the change that you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it will go back to the woo-woo is like it's vibrational, right? Like we are a bunch of vibrations that happen to be in this construct, and as we change within ourselves and how we are showing up and getting connected back within our bodies is like all of that does have an effect on our environment because of how we vibrate, and it does then change the things that are around us and their vibration.
Yep. And that's how powerful we are. If you choose to accept that perspective, I know I can't make you do that, but that's how powerful we are.
Yeah, we impact everything around us.
But see, the problem is because change sometimes is slow and methodical.
Yes,
and it's because it doesn't happen as quickly, or we're not changing anything. Ugh, nonsense. Look around. Look at life. Look at history. We constantly. That's my son. I'm having it. Here I am on a show with you. You're in Kelowna. My son is messaging me from Kelowna. So, but because things don't happen at our speed or our interpretation of life, we don't think it changes, but it does. It's just that change is very slow and incremental for most things, for transformative things. It's like even a hurricane. People go, well, a hurricane just shows up. No, it doesn't just show up.
Oh, it builds up steam.
Build up from a little depression over the ocean that grows with what energy, right? The warmth from the sea and the cold air and everything blends up properly. And next thing you know, you got this little depression that just grows into a tropical storm. And next thing you know, it doesn't just happen.
No,
it's a process to it.
And just like as it dies back out and releases, it is a process. Like
it is a process.
It doesn't just happen. It takes time, and it goes through the steps of becoming becoming a small windstorm to all of a sudden a tropical storm to a hurricane to devastation if it hits land, and then back out and released.
It's all a process of energy. I just wrote that down. Do something with that line, but. That's all it is we are that. We are a process of energy, right?
And then if that is where if that's perspective that we hold as true, then so is our comfort zone. It's a process of energy.
It's a process of energy.
And how are you going to choose to invest in that process of energy today? How do you want it to serve you? Contrast it against how it's serving you right now. And going, what can I change? Knowing I just have to tweak a little bit, and be okay that I'm not going to get instant gratification, and that it is going to develop into this process that all of a sudden gets me to where I'm pointing.
Yeah.
And where are you pointing?
And that's a very good point, the way you laid it out, because when you step into the discomfort, or when you are at the precipice of the discomfort, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with the comfort.
Oh. Say that again.
When you're at the precipice of discomfort, does not mean that there is something wrong with the comfort.
That really lands.
Right? It's not so much about right or wrong. It's like understanding that comfort that you're in, and what of it is not serving you the way you want it to. That's the invitation to then step into that discomfort. You're not just stepping into a wide abyss of discomfort. You're stepping. It's like you doing poetry and showing up to the recital last Sunday. right? You've never done an open mic. You've never done that before, right? But you stepped into that portion of that discomfort. Why? Because within the comfort and the comfort of doing this show, you started to write. But you've been writing even before this show, right? And I'm sure others have told you you're really good writing from your corporate endeavors in your past. If you've never thought of it from a creative standpoint, not seeing that even what you were doing within the corporate world was creative as well, right? But once I put that construct of creativity around you, that's when the discomfort came. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not a poet. That. And yet you kept doing it. And then I issued an invitation for you to step into a portion of the discomfort, which you did, knocked it out of the park, and you were right back into your comfort level. But now you're back into your comfort level with a new arrow in your quiver because now you know, oh, I can do this.
Well, it's a new process of using that energy. It's a new outlet for it, right? And I want to go back to the whole where you said just because you are on the precipice of
Mm-hmm.
your comfort zone doesn't make that comfort zone wrong.
No.
And I think that is a I I've always had like a resistance to a lot of the speaking heads around like change and improvement and all, you know, they're doing awesome work. This isn't a slag against them, but like what you just pointed to is that our comfort zone isn't a bad thing. It's a natural, healthy thing,
Yes.
and it comes down to us asking about how is it serving us versus how do I want my life to be serving me?
Yeah.
And it goes back to your famous line, the good, the bad, the beautiful and the ugly and everything in between is right there on both sides of it.
Both sides.
And
Always.
it's your choice to cultivate how you are going to be with it all.
Yeah. See, to me,
Ooh, there it is again.
the comfort zone is my foundation. It's where I get to create and build and do things. And I want to stand on a foundation that is solid, that allows me to truly embrace my true power and grace, but to also embrace the scary and darkness that lives within me. Right. So, I just wrote it down because I don't think I've ever said that before. I don't know if I've ever thought of it before. That's one of the beauties of doing this show and doing it live is that, we're not scripting anything. We're not scripting our thoughts and things. We just let it flow. So, I just wrote down, being at the precipice of the discomfort does not mean the comfort zone is back because I don't know if I've ever even formulated it that way before.
I haven't like hearing it today.
So,
It's just like
so I want to go and explore that. And it's funny, I'm working on a new piece that might work in tie. So I trust universal timing.
yeah.
I trust the comfort that I've created.
Mm,
As part of the comfort that I've created is to embrace the discomfort,
yes.
whether I create it or life creates it. Either
Just
way,
accepting that the discomfort exists
it
and going, I
exists.
will face you and I trust
Yes.
myself to face you.
It's like dark matter exists. Do we know what it is? No,
No.
but we know it exists.
Yeah.
So I'm at the point now in my rotation around this in this universe. I trust what I believe what I trust,
Mm,
and I trust what I know.
yeah.
And then my job now is to walk what I believe I know.
Mm,
And because I believe I know this much, I stay open to the wonders of everything because now I know I have nothing to fear because I'm always in my comfort zone. Kind of bringing it into present day when everyone's creating safe space. I am my safe space. There's no safer space that you can create externally for me than me being my safe space. Why? Because I trust that I have the abilities and skills and tools to deal with whatever life shows, whatever life brings forth. Doesn't mean I'm always going to do it what we call right. But I do know and believe I have the tools
yeah.
to deal with it.
And the
To me,
opportunity to
that's
experience
the
it and
ultimate.
practice it and
Yeah,
step into it and
yeah,
acknowledge all the times where you're like, nailed it, didn't nail it.
Yeah,
Nailed it, didn't nail it. Well,
and
speaking of universal
to me,
timing,
that's the comfort. That's the comfort. Last,
that's it.
that's it.
Comfort is not good or bad. It is a foundation. It's a place you can grow from and expand
Yeah,
and take and bring what you need into the energy, the process of energy, process of creation, and
yeah.
contrasting the how is this serving me today? How do I want it to be serving me? I think that kind of sums up this conversation.
I think so. In a very skittish, zebra-like way.
Hee, flapping
Well,
those hind legs.
we could learn from now we know this. We learn from nature. We learn
Yeah,
around. To me, this universe, this world, is a template on how to live. It's just that we have these big AIs on top of our shoulders that
they're incredible.
and they are incredible, but we don't know it all, and sometimes we just need to pay attention,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
What we're looking for is actually right under our nose if we can just get out of our own way. That's why I would say, as a coach, what do I really do? I won't even take you to the waters and push you in, or even grab a goblet and go here. All I'll do is take you and go, there are the waters. It is for you to walk in and to drink of the waters, right? That's all. So all I do is I just try to remove some of the trees from your forest so you can see.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
We get to have careers where we have conversations
I know.
that get to transform people if they choose. What a beautiful life we get to live.
Well, what we do is not foreign. It to me. I think it was valued more in the older days where you had the sages and the people of wisdom. In many Aboriginal tribes around the world, they valued the elders, that council of elders that, because of life and their age, have gained a wisdom that people trust, and they would go to them for guidance. So, that's why I take what I do seriously. That's why I'm very cognitive of how I attach monies to it, because to me it's a valued service. Um, and to me it's not so much, it's like, wow, I get to do this. I'm honored that I was blessed by the gods of this gift, to be able to do that, and others value it. So I take it seriously, and I feel honored that people look at me that way. So I just got asked on Sunday to one of my poet friends. She has a really popular interview show. She reached out to me. She goes, "I'd love to interview you for my show." And she goes, "I know a little bit about you, but send me your bio and your picture." And then so I sent it to her, and she responded back right away. She goes, "Are you a guru?" She goes, "You look like a guru." I said, "I don't know what that word means.
I'm not your guru.
I'm not a word. It's not a word that I use for myself."
Yeah.
I said that's for others to determine, whatever that means. But
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, I also do understand how people see me or think of me, and I'm honored for that.
Yeah.
But that is also earned to some degree because of who I am and the way I walk, and I like to think I'm consistent in what I say and and how I present. So I don't know. I'm just making shit up as I go.
It's almost how we end every show. We're just making it up as we go,
Making up as
to
we
the
go.
to the best of our abilities.
Isn't that? But there's some truth there. Isn't that what we're all? That's what we're all doing.
What's what life really is.
That's what life really is. So,
Well, brother,
right.
we saw the universe's timing, and then we blew past the universe's timing. So now we're back to the exposed component of our show. So if this is the first time you've joined the Rawle Gene Show, this is the piece where we read a piece of our own writing. So each of us take a turn doing this, and it's an opportunity to explore the creativeness that we have within us and deepen our own understandings, I think, of what we're trying to express. So typically, I always point the finger at Rawle to go. I'm going to point the finger at me today to go.
Okay.
So I'm going to read my piece first. So let's do this. It's called The Space Between. The space between the start and the end is where we find ourselves. The dots between the plan and the outcome show the path as it was and as it is still to come. The space between the dots is where the freedom whispers as if it was screaming in our ears. The echo in the space between teases us with the words of the past as if they are new. The words between the space reveal the truth of who's under the echoes of the past, revealing the space inside unexplored through chasing the dots. The space between is everything at all times and nothing at all. The me revealed is woven into all as a hidden mystery in plain sight. The mystery of the message begging for the response to connect the dots and see the picture as it is for what it is and love each dot for the response it was. The space between the dots is the answer to the questions ever present and available to all. The space is the chance to leap from this dot to the next with fullness of self, to create the next echo. This next dot is the choice in the past. Let it breathe and awaken you in the space between. And peace.
Man, I really hope you're gathering all these muses that you're writing. So that's brilliant.
Thanks, brother.
Really brilliant. When we get together on Monday, I would like you to recite that again. It's just so many. And please, can you start editing out the poetry piece? Because what are we calling this segment again?
The expose piece? Maybe we need a new name for it. The expose? I don't know.
I don't know, whatever. But, maybe start editing that out and putting it out more, just the two pieces of poetry. But that's just brilliant writing that I'm going to invite you to really share more. The Inspired Word Cafe is going to be starting up its 14th season in September, I believe. I should really connect you with Aaron Scott and Cole Marsh. I always mess up Cole's name. I don't know why. Cole Mash. But they're the two young ones that are now running. Well, the Inspired Word is now theirs.
Yeah.
And but the open mic when it opens up, I invite you to really step out into that discomfort and go.
Like in real life.
In real life, not online, and go. And you're a really good writer, Gene.
I appreciate it.
I really enjoy listening to your words and the way you phrase and bring words together, the picture that it conjures, the imagery that comes from it. For those that are listening, let him know if you think he's a good writer as well. I think that encouragement might yield so much more than you anticipated from the discomfort of writing.
I appreciate this push and getting to explore this.
Yeah.
And now we get to listen to our featured poet, Rawle James, share a piece with us that is going to be inspiring and incredible.
Okay. There's a setup for failure.
Don't put that out in the energy.
Oh, it's already out there now because I don't buy into it. So I actually too have a piece called "The Space Between Space," but I'm not going to read that one. I might have read it before because it's funny when you said you had a piece called "The Space Between." But I'm going to read you a new piece that I just finished writing last night.
All right.
You know me, I don't write to themes. That's why when people invite me to workshops, I don't usually go because I'm not that kind of writer, although I can do it. And at times I too step out of my discomfort and go to these types of theme shows to challenge myself.
Mm-hmm.
But this piece I really enjoy because I think it fits into the theme. It's called "To Live Within Death." In these times of constant pleas, diving into ideas, intellect not free, we load the destructive creative process, for it is our purpose to live within death, to embrace the gifts of life's philosophies as we question the struggle of life itself. My cup runneth full, overflowing as the adventure continues. I sit perched on an unsteady throne in the madness of these shifting tides. I walk through the discomfort of my mind to see beyond limiting thoughts. Resilient desire is to embrace of the struggle, For freedom at times can disguise this truth. Morals can be twisted by faithful hands, but memory is long and sometimes blind. My destiny is my choice and not chance, at times tainted in the pursuit of mastery. Empty words blur and divide as utopia becomes laced with anxieties. I water my dreams with nourishing thoughts to bear my challenges into brighter days. My joy flows from the ethos that is my soul, for I am the surrender. I am the calm and the peace.
And if anything about that spoke to you, please let my good friend Rawle know, because that was a powerful piece. That freedom disguised as truth, brother, you just have a way of not just painting the picture, but like it. Oh, it's like it moves. You paint us, you tell a story, and it's very filled with all the bumps and everything else.
Well, I appreciate that. Although I didn't feel like I read it very well, but it's the first time I've actually read it out loud.
Yeah,
which was good, so I can understand the timing better. But yeah, I like the way it turned out. I like the feel of it. I even like the title, "To Live Within Death." Mm-hmm. A friend of mine goes, "What does that mean, to live within death?" I go, "We are born to die, so you're living within death, knowing that you're going to die. Just don't know when."
When? Don't be in a rush for it.
Yeah, well,
it's happening anyways.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, it's just when it happens, that's out of my control. That's not within my power. The only thing within my power is to live as long as I choose to live.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
well, my friend,
that was fun. That was fun.
Powerful conversation today. Thank you so much for diving in, and for those of you who are watching along with us, thank you for sharing the comments while we were live. And if you're watching this or listening to this later on, we appreciate all that it is. We'd love to see those likes and comments so that we can help refine our show and make sure that we're bringing the best for all of you in a conversation you want to be part of. And at any point, we're here almost every Friday live. So if you got comments, we see them and we will pull them into our conversation. Just because we've got a topic doesn't mean that the squirrels don't run free sometimes, right, Rawle?
Well, yeah, and the squirrels always run free. But to add to what Gene said, don't just peel back on Facebook. Jump onto YouTube and watch the videos, and to subscribe to the channel. Help peel back wall. If you value what we're doing, please, take that few extra seconds to not just click like on Facebook, but jump on YouTube and share with your friends. Invite people to our our weekly show. It's not a podcast; it's a show.
It's a show.
The podcasts will be coming. Now that's just a matter of putting up the tapes. That's all.
Yeah.
Come and support the show and let people know.
Yeah.
I've been grateful to see a number of people from my past have stumbled on the show and we've gotten positive comments. And I know it's difficult with so much going on, with so much things going on social media, you have to pick and choose. So I guess what I'm doing is I'm begging and pleading for you to pick us. No.
It'll help so much, and we appreciate it when you do. And with that, Rawle, my brother, thank you so much for a great conversation. Much love to you and much love to everybody. You've been heard and you are loved. And until next Friday, we'll talk to you then. Oh, one last thing. It's the legal language. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals.